Hi, boys and girls. Today we are going to talk about more than one author being able to give the same message in different stories. So, looking at this first book, When This World Was New, I'm going to read a couple of pages from that book, and while I do, I want you to think about why the author wants you to know what it's like to move to a new country. So, here we go. The first plane flew low over clear waters. I looked out the window at the boats beneath us. I saw large stingrays swimming near the surface of the sea. Papa looked out the window with me. He seemed worried. Mama was very quiet. We landed at a small airport near a beach, but we didn't stay there. We moved to another plane. This was a jet. We flew high over the clouds and into the night. I was excited, but I was also scared. After a few hours in the air, we landed at a big airport. There were hundreds of people running from one end of the terminal to the other. They were carrying suitcases and packages and boxes. They didn't smile. They didn't speak in Spanish. I took Mama's hand and held it tightly. How is Donalito feeling right now? Why do you think it's so hard for Donalito to come to America so far? That's right, he doesn't speak the same language as us, does he? He speaks Spanish and we speak English, and so it's really hard for him to understand what's going on. Let's read to find out if there's any other reasons it might be scary for him to move to a new country. So Uncle Berto got them from the airport, and it says, Uncle Berto was talking about America. He liked it here, but said that winters were very long and cold and that you could fall on ice and hurt yourself. He said that you had to speak English, but it was not easy to learn a new language. And that Los Americanos were kind, but there were a few who were not friendly toward foreigners. Foreigners is someone who is from a different country. They're not from the United States. I was a foreigner, and I didn't speak English, and I didn't know how to walk on ice. I was scared. Papa had worries too. He wanted to take Mama to a doctor. She had not been feeling well. She looked sad lately, and she worried a lot. He told Uncle Berto that in order to help Mama, he needed money. To make money, he needed a job. But how could he find a job in a new country? How could he buy Mama medicine? How could he buy food for us and clothes and rent an apartment? Mama nodded as Papa asked those questions. Uncle Berto nodded as well. He told Papa that everything would be fine, that it was all just a matter of time. So, why else would it be difficult for Donalito and his family to come to America, to move to a new country? Right. When you move somewhere, you have to find a new house. Adults have to find a new job so that you're able to do things like go to school and have a home and have food to eat and to be able to go to the doctor and things like that. So it was very scary for Donalito's family. It was all new land. They didn't know anything. So let's take a look at a different book. And this is My Name is Yoon. And while I am reading a couple of pages from this book, I want you to think, why does the author want you to know about moving to a new country again? And what do you think the message is? So here I go. It was not long after we settled in that my father called me to his side. Soon you will go to your new school. You must learn to print your name in English, he said. Here, this is how it looks. Y-O-O-N, Yoon. I wrinkled my nose. I did not like Yoon. Lines, circles, each standing alone. My name looks happy in Korean, I said. The symbols dance together. This is Yoon in Korean. And in Korean, my name means shining wisdom. I like the Korean way better. Well, you must learn to write it this way. Remember, even when you write it in English, it still means shining wisdom. My first day at school, I sat quietly at my desk while the teacher talked about cat. She wrote cat on the chalkboard. She read a story about cat. I did not know what her words meant, but I knew what the picture said. She sang a song about cat. It was a pretty song, and I tried to sing the words too. Later, she gave me a paper with my name on it. Name, Yoon, she said, and she pointed to the empty lines underneath. I did not want to write Yoon. I wrote cat instead. I wrote cat on every line. So why do you think it was difficult? What do you think it was difficult for Yoon moving from Korea to the United States? Right, so the message that the authors were trying to help you learn and to get across is that it can be hard to get used to living in a new country. It says the authors tell you what Donalito and Yoon struggle with to help you learn that it can be hard getting used to living somewhere new. So today, as you read, I want you to think about the author's message of the book you are reading. And then think about if you've read a different book before that had that same message too.